Welcome. Today, we're not really doing analysis in the usual sense. We're sharing four deeply disturbing true accounts, stories of the unexplained.
These are first-person testimonies, encounters that, well, frankly, they seem to have completely traumatized the people involved, shattered their sense of reality.
Our aim here is just to retell these experiences. Four encounters from places like Iraq to remote national parks. Moments where the normal world just dissolved.
Right, and maybe look at what connects them, that sheer level of dread they inspired. The terror is almost palpable in these accounts.
Okay, let's start. Our first story comes from a U.S. Army soldier. He was deployed in Iraq doing an extra guard shift.
Yeah, at the motor pool. So a big parking lot for military vehicles. And it was late, between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Dead quiet.
That's a high-stress environment anyway, right? But this was supposed to be routine, boring even,
right,
surrounded by those big concrete T-walls.
Exactly. So around 4 a.m., his relief shows up. He grabs his weapon, starts walking back to his CHU, his housing unit.
He passes through a gap in the T-walls, and he sees something about 30 feet away on the cement path.
A cat. Just a black and white cat.
Which should be, normal. Maybe even a little comforting out there.
But it wasn't. The moment he saw it, he said his body just reacted violently.
He jumped back.
Stopped dead in his tracks. And he describes this tidal wave of just pure anxiety and paranoia washing over him.
Instantly. Before anything even happened.
Instantly. Not like a slow fear building, just bam, overwhelming dread. It's interesting, like the feeling came before the real visual shock.
And then there was this weird moment of false comfort.
Yeah, because the cat, he said, looked exactly like his own cat back home. The markings were identical, black, white paws, white chest, the stripe on the face.
Wow, so that familiarity kind of pushed back the panic for a second.
It seems like it. He actually slung his rifle over his shoulder, thought maybe he'd try and coax it over.
Oh, he gets closer.
Takes a few steps, then crouches down. And this is key. He goes from standing, maybe a 6-foot eye level, down to about 3 feet, crouching.
And the change in perspective.
Changed everything. In that split second, he said, it wasn't a cat anymore. It looked, and I quote, completely different.
How different? What did he see?
He described it as large, broad, sort of dog-like, but low to the ground. Just wrong. Heavy, unnatural.
Could he make out details?
Not really the body. He said all rationality just left him. But the eyes. He could see the eyes perfectly.
And the eyes were?
Human. He was absolutely certain, wide open, staring right at him, and clearer than daylight. That's how he put it.
Clearer than daylight. Human eyes in this transformed creature.
Yeah, like looking in a mirror and forcing your own eyes wide open, that intense, intelligent, horrifying stare. And the thing didn't move, not an inch.
Just locked in this staring contest. His training, his weapon, useless.
Completely useless. He slowly stood back up, maybe hoping it would shift back to being a cat. But it didn't. It stayed as this broad, dog-like thing.
So what did he do?
Started backing away, slowly. Kept his eyes locked on it, and the way it disappeared. It wasn't that it ran off or hid.
No. How then?
He said it just, steadily wasn't there anymore. It just faded out of existence.
Vanished. But not quite silently.
Right before it was completely gone, he heard this noise. A low but loud guttural growl. Not necessarily aimed at him, but it sort of resonated, vibrated off the T-walls around him.
An assertion of its presence, then gone.
Exactly. The whole thing. The anxiety hitting first, the familiar image of the cat, then the shift. It feels like manipulation, not just a random sighting. The body knew before the brain did.
That kind of deep instinctual dread. It takes us to our next account. Different place entirely. Newfoundland.
Yeah, from a war zone to the deep isolation of a national park. This happened to a driver alone on a remote road about 10 p.m.
And the conditions were unusual.
Very clear night. He specifically mentioned a huge clear moon, bright enough you could almost read by it. The road went through a valley, then banked up into a sharp curve towards a ridge. Very isolated.
Okay, so he's driving into this curve.
And something white catches his eye in his peripheral vision, coming from the side of the road, growing larger really, really fast, meeting the car as it turned.
He turned to look.
He did. And what he saw, this description is just visceral. He said it was man-shaped, completely naked, but hairless. And specifically noted it had no genitals.
Okay.
And its skin had this shine. He called it a deathly, nauseating white and greasy shine.
God. And its movement.
This is maybe the most terrifying part. It wasn't walking or running, it was crawling on its hands and knees.
Crawling. But you said it was fast.
Unnaturally fast. And huge. He said it was the size of his car. It went from being the small white dot he barely noticed to being right there, spitting distance from his windshield, in the time it took him to make that turn.
Keeping pace with a moving car.
Mm-hmm.
While crawling. That's impossible.
Totally impossible. And the face. He described it as rubbery, stretched into what looked like a silent scream. No sound, but pure agony or rage in its expression.
And he felt it was intelligent.
Oh, yeah. He was convinced it was intelligent and that it wanted nothing more than to tear him apart with its teeth. The malice was overwhelming.
Just the sheer speed, the silence, the look of it.
He slammed on the gas, braced himself, expecting to hit it. It just vanished, blinked out. Didn't jump away, didn't get hit, just gone.
Wow. Afterwards, did he try to figure out what it was?
He did. He actually looked into local folklore, things like skinwalkers or wendigos, thinking maybe it fit, but he said no, none of them matched.
It was its own thing.
He concluded it was just a crawling man. Unique. And here's something really telling. He mentioned that folks in Newfoundland, they'll talk about ghosts or fairies, normal spooky stuff.
But not this.
Nothing like this ever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
He had this deep feeling, this conviction that it would be very, very bad luck to speak about it.
That's more than just being scared. That's like recognizing a kind of power you shouldn't even acknowledge.
Exactly. It suggests the fear it instilled was so profound, so primal, it imposed its own silence. That tells you something about the nature of the encounter. Existentially terrifying.
Okay, let's move to another kind of encounter. One where the entity seemed to physically interact with the world. Hong Kong.
Right. This story comes from someone whose uncle was an ex-policeman there. It happened during his time on the force.
What was the situation?
He got a call late one evening, reports of kids messing around in some local woods. Pretty standard stuff.
Oh, he goes out there.
Finds the woods dark, the kids are long gone. They left some rubbish behind, which he cleaned up. Again, routine.
Then he gets back in his patrol car.
Yep. Starts the engine, puts it in gear, hits the accelerator. The engine just revs loudly. But the car doesn't move. Not an inch. He thought maybe he was stuck, on a rock or a tree root or something.
So he keeps trying, pushing the gas.
Yeah, foot to the floor, engine screaming. And while he's doing this, headlights piercing the darkness ahead. An outline starts to form right in front of the car.
Materializing out of nowhere.
Exactly. It's solidified into the figure of a Chinese woman. Long dark hair, clothes looked dirty, maybe damp. Her face was pale, incredibly sad looking.
And she was doing something.
Her hands were flat against the front bumper of his patrol car, like she was physically holding it back.
And there was something else.
Her eyes?
That was the detail that hit him. Her eyes weren't dark, they were red. Bright red, like someone who'd been crying uncontrollably for hours.
You knew instantly it wasn't human.
Instantly. A spirit. But not just a ghost floating by. This was something physically stopping his car. A multi-ton vehicle with a revving engine. That's when the real panic set in.
Powerless. What did he do?
He just needed to break contact, maybe break the spell. He glanced down for a fraction of a second just to grab the gear stick and slam it into reverse.
And when he looked back up?
She was gone. Instantly. Vanished completely.
And the car.
It lurched backward as soon as she disappeared. He didn't wait around. He got out of those woods like a madman, absolutely terrified. He swears to this day it was real. It's that imposition of will, isn't it? Something non-physical, overpowering, brute, mechanical force. His car, a symbol of authority, completely neutralized.
That specific kind of helplessness is deeply unsettling, which brings us kind of neatly to our last story, the ultimate failure, perhaps, of a protector.
This involves a father and his young daughter, Ellie. She was 6. They'd just moved into a small house.
And the house had a cork, no closets, so they used those freestanding hanging clothes racks in the bedrooms.
Right from the start, Ellie had a problem with her room.
Yeah, she started complaining almost immediately, said someone was in her room. She was really distressed, kept asking to go live with her grandparents.
So the father tried to reassure her.
He did all the usual things, tried to show her there was nothing there, but she wasn't convinced. So one night, he decided he'd sleep on the floor next to her bed to prove it was safe.
Okay, so he's there on the floor.
He eventually drifts off, but then he wakes up later to a sound, a faint, soft, clanging noise, like metal hangers gently bumping against the metal rack. He realizes Ellie isn't in her bed anymore. She's crawled out and snuggled down right next to him on the floor.
So they're both there together.
Lying side by side. There's a nightlight on, casting this soft orange glow. He hears the clanging sound again, softly, and then it becomes visual.
What happens?
The clothes hanging on the rack, they part like curtains being deliberately pulled open, not just shifting, but opening a gap.
And in the gap.
A head, a figure of a head, perfectly silhouetted, just shadow, but undeniably a head shape staring directly at them from between the clothes.
Oh, no.
And the father, he froze, completely paralyzed. He said he wanted desperately to jump up, grab Ellie, run, but he couldn't move a muscle, just locked there, staring at the shadowy head.
That's horrifying. The paralysis?
It's that total failure of the fight-or-flight response, isn't it? Especially when your child is right there, the one person you're programmed to protect, rendered completely helpless.
And Ellie?
Yeah.
Did she see it?
That's the worst part. While he's lying there, frozen, paralyzed, he hears a whisper from right behind him. It's Ellie.
What did she say?
She whispered, "What is that, Daddy?"
Oh, God.
He just lay there, unable to respond, unable to move, until eventually the shadowy head just backed away. Retreated behind the clothes, and they fell back into place.
Did he sleep after that?
Not a wink. Stayed awake, terrified, until morning, and the next day. He didn't argue anymore. He packed them up, and they moved in with the grandparents.
He gave her what she wanted.
He did. That was 4 years ago, according to the account. And he said the memory, the paralysis, hearing his daughter's terrified whisper, it's still profoundly terrifying for him. The failure to protect is the real horror.
So when you look at these 4 stories together, Iraq, Newfoundland, Hong Kong, a child's bedroom, different places, different things.
Very different manifestations, yeah. But the common thread is this overwhelming, paralyzing, visceral terror. It's not just being scared, it's something deeper that fundamentally changes the person who experiences it.
The immediate psychic assault in Iraq. The impossible physics and silent malice of the crawling man. The spirit physically stopping a car. The shadow causing total paralysis.
It points to realities or entities operating by rules we just don't understand. Rules that can apparently override our own physical laws, our own biology, our own will.
On that fear, it defies easy explanation. It feels ancient, primal.
Absolutely. Think back to the Newfoundland driver. That deep, certain knowledge that talking about it was bad luck. Not just scary, but dangerous to even speak of. That kind of instinctual dread.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the truest measure of encountering something genuinely monstrous.
It leaves you wondering what else is out there, operating just beyond our perception.
Definitely gives you pause.
Well, that's all we have time for on this unsettling deep dive. Thank you for joining us as we shared these accounts. We hope you stay spooky.
And if you found these stories compelling, if you appreciate this exploration into the truly terrifying unknown, please do remember to hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons.
For Horror Docs, we'll catch you on the next one.